For some time, I have been putting off picking up Spider-Man Miles Morales since I had not gotten around to finishing Marvel's Spider-Man 2018 by Insomniac, which from now on I will refer to as Spider-Man 2018 throughout the review to keep things short. Anyway, a few months ago, a family member picked up Spider-Man Miles Morales and after completing the game offered to loan it to me and asked that I review it. I figured, hey, I get to play what I was anticipating to be a fantastic game, and it would give me an excuse to finish Spider-Man 2018. Also, I wouldn't need to purchase the game for the review, which would be another bonus. Or so I thought. Unfortunately, for some reason, I could not get their game to install on my system, so I purchased the game and ended up paying full price as I could not find it on sale. With that said, it's time to ask the question, what's it worth? Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What's It Worth, where I review a game, show a little gameplay, and give an idea of what a game is worth. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more What's It Worth reviews. Please note, I understand a game is worth what someone is willing to pay for. Obviously, anyone is able to have their own opinion on what they like and dislike, and have the freedom to buy and pay whatever they feel is reasonable. This is just my opinion based on the content within a game, the age of a game, how long it is, replayability value, and if there is a multiplayer available, and how good that multiplayer is. I have spent many years buying and playing games and have a general idea of what I feel I should be paying. This is simply to give you an idea or baseline of what a game is worth. And if money is no object, this is still a general review, so there is still something here for you. Before I go any further, I would first like to thank my first 100, my first 200, and my current 217 subscribers at the time of this video for subscribing to the channel. I so appreciate your support and thank you for sticking with me. I also want to apologize for the delay in uploads. I have had some things come up and was not able to get an upload here sooner. Thank you so much to all my subscribers, commenters, and viewers. I appreciate you. Now, with that out of the way, let's continue. Even though I did not intend to purchase Spider-Man Miles Morales, since it was technically going to be lent to me, or at least not bought it right away, I'm kind of happy that I did buy it. Because this game is nothing short of great. Honestly, there is only one thing about this game that I didn't necessarily care for. But I'll get into that a little later. As always, I will try to keep spoilers to a minimum when talking about the story. The story is set in New York after the events that transpired in Spider-Man 2018, and it is set during the holiday season. As you may have guessed, you are playing as Miles Morales, who you are introduced to and play some as in Spider-Man 2018. A quick side note, if you haven't played Spider-Man 2018 and kind of need to be caught up to the present story in Spider-Man Miles Morales, this game does have a recap option before the game starts to catch you up. So you don't need to play Spider-Man 2018 to be able to play Spider-Man Miles Morales. The story for Spider-Man Miles Morales starts out with Peter Parker showing Miles the ropes of being Spider-Man. After a few crash courses, Peter Parker decides to go on vacation with Mary Jane, leaving Miles to protect the city of New York. Shortly after Peter Parker leaves for vacation, Miles Morales finds himself in conflict with two antagonists. The first being the Roxxon Energy Corporation, who is an influence within the city of New York, and is developing a dangerous power source called Newform. Roxxon is also battling the second antagonist, the Tinkerer, who is the leader of the Underground. Miles will need to investigate both Roxxon and the Underground to find out why they are waging war on each other while stopping them from destroying the city. As you progress through the story, you get to see Miles' interaction with his family and his friends, as well as the struggle of juggling his personal life, hobbies, and being Spider-Man. Between this and some very surprising twists and turns, The story of Spider-Man Miles Morales is quite simply spectacular. The story took approximately 7 hours to complete, and I loved every minute of it. The story was not the only thing that is great about Spider-Man Miles Morales. The game is beautiful, New York is about as lifelike as you could ask for, and the buildings and landscapes are quite simply beautiful. I did not notice any stuttering or slowdowns, and the game ran smooth. The gameplay does not disappoint. First and foremost, Spider-Man with the Venom power with bioelectricity. At first, seems kind of out there, but honestly, after the explanation of how Miles has this power, and then using it, it's just so much fun. And it honestly looks awesome. The developers also used it within the puzzle-solving areas of the game, which is just a nice addition. And I honestly just had so much fun swinging through New York with Spider-Man. It's just a great time in Spider-Man Miles Morales, and especially with his unique way of swinging. As for the combat, it is as smooth and as addicting as I had hoped. All in all, the combat and gameplay is also just a fantastic part of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Unfortunately, Spider-Man Miles Morales does not have a multiplayer portion to the game. As for replayability, this game does have some replayability value. The game offers New Game Plus, and even though I do not typically talk about trophies, as they are not something everyone is interested in collecting, you will need to play the game in New Game Plus to be able to platinum the game. So there's that. So at this point you're probably thinking that I must really like this game. Well, I am a huge Spider-Man fan in general. I really enjoyed the story and think Miles Morales is a great character. I loved the gameplay and think the Venom power is awesome. So what's the catch? The only real complaint that I have with this game is how short it is for the $50 price tag. The game's story took me around 7 hours, and I have spent about 2 hours after rolling the credits completing side missions, and at the time of this review, I'm at about 83% completion. I would say at most, if you were collecting all of the trophies, this game will be a maximum of 20 hours if you're really taking your time. I understand the idea of quality over quantity, and it definitely rings true here. However, the game may feel to some more like DLC, downloadable content, than an actual standalone game. So what's it worth? Well, there are a few answers to that, as there are a few versions of the game. One is the PS4 with the PS5 upgrade for $49.99 USD. The other is PS5 standalone version, which is the same price at $49.99 USD. And lastly, there is an Ultimate Edition for PlayStation 5, that is the Spider-Man 2018 Remastered with Spider-Man Miles Morales for $69.99 USD. If you plan on playing this game for PS4 and have no intentions on getting it for PlayStation 5 and do not care about next-gen upgrades, then you will want to pick this game up for around the $30 mark. For those who plan on getting a PlayStation 5 and want to play this game now and then again on the PlayStation 5 with the next-gen experience, $40 is reasonable. For those who have a PlayStation 5 and only intend on playing the game on PlayStation 5, then you will want to wait for a sale or price drop around the $30 mark. As for the Spider-Man 2018 Remastered version with Miles Morales for the PlayStation 5, this will be one of those few times I'm going to say it is well worth the full price tag, even with next-gen pricing being around $69.99, because you are getting the remastered version of the 2018 Spider-Man for the next-gen experience, plus all the DLC, and Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is only worth it as long as you haven't played or you intend on playing Spider-Man 2018 Remastered. Spider-Man Miles Morales was truly a great game, and I cannot wait for the next game in the series. As always, I hope this review helps. Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much. Later.